spiritual superstars. Hey, hey, hey. We are live over in Zoom. I'm going to give you our link right now. Let me give you the link right now over in Zoom, and you can ask your questions over there. Hey, Healing Sounds. Hello, Alexis. Speedy and on point right there. Hey, how you been, somebody? Oh my goodness. Where have you been? We are going to, let me give you the link. Now, I know that some of you can't get into Zoom. Patricia's here. Can you guys get over to Zoom? Who cannot get over to Zoom? Because we may just have it here. I've got one spiritual superstar over there. Let me ask. Sushana, do you want to do it on YouTube or do you want to stay in Zoom? Let's see. Oh, okay. Here comes everybody. Okay, hang on. We're going to go into Zoom so that you all can ask questions and I can hear directly from you. Here you come. Okay. Let's just give it a minute. Hello, beautiful. Hmm? Great. How are you? How the babies? Oh. Okay, so we're going to stay in Zoom and you are going to be the first to ask questions or to just share if you don't mind. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure people, let's see, I'm trying to get on Zoom. I think I had the wrong Zoom. Okay, Bridget, you got the Zoom. There's Bridget. Make sure you guys have the Zoom. Okay. All right. So, is there an echo or anything? If anyone is still on YouTube, is there an echo? And is there an echo in Zoom? Because I might just go ahead and keep it up for a minute to let people know. No echo? Sweet. Okay. Just a little echo? Okay. Thank you, Ingles. Okay, so we're good to go then. All right. So, Grand Rising, everyone. Take a beautiful deep breath in. Raising our vibration, kissing our higher self, connecting with the divine. If you would like to ask questions real time, please head over to our Zoom. And I think I will just keep it up. Damien, if you would like to ask any questions real time, come on over to Zoom, okay? Thank you so much for coming in and typing in your pound 1111. Okay, so Sushana, we are going to ask you to just start. And I think today we'll just leave the floor open for the questions that you all are having. I get a lot of emails and text messages to our business line on different things. And I think today is just a good day to just answer questions and to see how I might be able to help you all in your journey. So this is anything from love to spiritual development and your personal connection with divine source, our ancestors, and maybe even your place in the third dimension. What is it all about with spiritual guidance? Your dreams, visions, business, spiritual business, all of it. Okay, so Sushana, how may I help you?
Grand Rising, everybody. I'm at work right now, so you might hear a dog. Excuse the dog. Um, I just wanted to say that I've been using your tips on kind of negotiating with my human to fulfill what my spirit wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as I do that, I see I'm taking like small steps to really have the courage to listen to myself. So, for instance, I would, if I had to eat something like, say, a pizza, instead of getting a pizza with cheese, I would get like a salad pizza with just salad on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that really helped me take little steps to fulfilling what my spirit wants me to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
Uh,
huge.
yeah.
That little part right there, because let me just break that apart with you before you move on, because
Hmm.
it's so significant to have the healthiest life in our third dimension,
Yeah.
right? That we call life. So, just as Sushana shared so openly that she's at work, and we know in this third dimension we have responsibilities, obligations. Some of us have children, families, spouses, parents we're taking care of, other family members. There's so much. And so that overwhelm gets really real. And just being able to break it down with the minutia is so empowering, just to the point of what do I need to eat? So big, because you know that if you're eating something loaded with sugar, you're going to spiral. If you're eating a bunch of unhealthy food, you're going to spiral. Alcohol, anything you're putting in your human. And so your human is going to tell you when your human is not being controlled by you, the soul within her or him or them, then they get the first choice. But what Sushana just shared was she is telling her human how they're going to maneuver in this third dimension that we call life. And that's big, because that is the first time Sushana's human is being directed solely by her, the soul within her, instead of society, your human's wants or needs, um, the desires that are on a physical level, and our fear based energy, or I want it now. So that goes right into when we want the get rich quick. We want it now. We want the money now. We want the satisfaction now. We want the love now. We want the intimacy now. We want to feel that affection now. And so when what she's saying is she's using the tips that I put. And where did you get the tips? Is this like a collective, or is this in our program?
Oh, actually, the private reading that you did with me, I didn't forget when you said, I had to kind of negotiate with my human to feel what I see in my mind.
Mm,
So what spirit was telling me.
I
And
love
I
that.
really try to attempt to do that, not to just like cave into like, oh, I'm gonna have 10 cookies because I feel like, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, that's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's a discussion. So Sushana is sharing that conversation. And here's the thing, is that our human just will debo us. Our human will just kind of bully us if we let our human do that. And our human will just flat out disrespect our existence. And that's
Hmm.
called sabotaging, right? So, oh, thank you so much. So, Sushana, what else?
Yeah. There's a couple other things too. Even when I'm walking outside, like I want to go a certain path, but I guess fear comes in my mind, and I'm like, don't go that way. So I often try to double check, like, okay, higher self, should I go that way? Is it okay? Usually it's a yes, but for some reason, my first thought was like, no, don't go that way, because of
Mm-hmm.
something in my mind says don't go that way.
Mm.
So even double checking on what my human wants me to do, you know, it really helps me understand kind of what to listen to or what to look out for,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to build like my faith within my higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so spiritual superstars, let me just give a different way of how that rolls out. And when you're hearing our spiritual superstar share their experience, absolutely challenge your human. Absolutely go back and focus on how that is applied in your own life, and get that challenge like actively, like right now, whatever you're doing. Just take a minute and do that, and you will receive such a significant improvement just by doing it now. When you come to Spiritual Guidance Academy, one of the biggest things I want is for you to participate in your own spiritual journey. I don't ever want anyone to give the full reins of their life to somebody else. So, our biggest thing here is spiritual safety. And you all are empaths. And what that means is you feel energy significantly. We all are empaths. Some of us more aware than others, but here's the deal, whether you're aware or not, you're still feeling energy come from so many different areas, and it's not just people. So, what she just said, I'm going to tell my human to be disciplined, to not have those 10 cookies. That's huge, because just as I can honestly say I need to work on that, I have not been having that discussion with my own human, not on the nutritional aspect of get away from the sweets until most recently. So I'll even go into to spurts of, okay, Nikki, we need to get it together because you're really tripping, and
Mhm.
not have that Danish that you got for the family. You it's not for you. So, it's like it's that simple, but it's that difficult. And our human will push back on us. So that spiritual discipline is strong. Sushana, what are you finding? How are you finding when your human pushes back that you're able to, strong arm her really, and then reward her? Because that's the other part of spiritual superstars. You're going to hear Sushana share how the rewarding system goes totally different now.
Okay, so say for instance, I wanted like a croissant or something, right? But my human wants like three croissants.
Mm-hmm.
So I would only get one, and to make it better for my human, I would have like an avocado spread in the middle instead of jelly or butter. Like I would try to make it better for me
Yeah.
to eat, so I'm not feeling drained or down or low vibrational.
Oh, wow. It's
And as
awesome.
yeah, and as I do that, my human is quiet because you got the croissant, okay, but then I also don't get any of the negative side effects. So I would also drink things like aloe vera water or things that
Mm-hmm.
also like purge out all the nasty stuff. And because
Mm-hmm.
I do that, I could hear my higher self better because my human is quiet. So if my higher self said like, go ahead, take a bath, I'm able to hear that and understand, oh, okay. I should do that now.
Do you know how big that is, spiritual superstars? Oh my gosh, girl, I'm so proud of you. So shut up.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh. That makes me feel so good to know that you are following what I teach to the T.
Yeah, I'm
It's
still working on
cute.
it. I'm not perfect, but these are
Yeah.
just some victories I want to share. Like, there's motivation to keep going. So, anything is possible right now because I also experience the consequences of when I don't listen. So, for instance, um, my human was craving like Chinese food, and I know in my mind, okay, I shouldn't eat that. But even when I did eat it, I experienced the consequences so fast. Like, I woke up with a sore throat, and I usually don't get
Mm.
sick, but I knew exactly what happened. So I'm like, okay, no more. And my human kind of said, okay, no more. I don't really want to feel that way.
Yes.
So we kind of on an agreement not to eat any more Chinese food. So the resistance isn't going to be there when I choose not to.
Wow. So, spiritual superstars, comment whether you're on YouTube or in our Zoom, and definitely come on over to the Zoom so that you can ask a question real time. Comment, how is that playing out in your life? Comment and just see how that might be something that you need to look at. And what does that mean to you? Here's the deal, we're all souls within our vessel, and our vessel is our human. And our human is not a negative source of energy. And so when I hear, um, my colleague Eckhart Tolle say, pain body, I want to be really clear in that it is a containment, it is a vessel, it is our human being who is alive and well because of us, the soul within our human, in our connection with the Holy Spirit that lives inside of us. And our connection, of course, is with divine, our creator. And so be very aware of the verbiage and the understanding of what that all means when you hear that the ego, the pain body, the human experience, our human is faulty. And that comes along with the third dimension. In order for us to survive in this physical, we have to maneuver on in a human plane, a physical plane. But that doesn't mean that we have the right to judge our own human, right? Can I get an amen off of that? I mean, that is huge because we don't get to play into that. Okay, I'm totally a loser. I am not doing what I need to be doing, and I get to feel sorry, 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 and it spirals. You get to say, okay, yep, I'm part human, and I am not a bad person. I have these inappropriate thoughts. I have these visions that I can't figure out what the heck, where are they coming from, and all of that. I feel a certain way. My mood shifts immediately when I get into a certain spot, when I'm around somebody. That energy is real. The visions are real. You see them in your mind's eye. You wonder where they come from. And you're just like, oh my gosh, how bad am I to think this, to think that? It is a part of the human makeup. And so you, the soul within your human, have to get a handle on that. And that means you have to control your human. So just like she said, she's not going to give in to her human's desire of that thought, of that want, that need that's on a very physical level of I want jelly or I want cream cheese on a bagel or I want the sugary stuff. Instead, she's going to say, okay, well, you know what? You didn't have, four cookies. We only had the one or we had the four, whatever it was. And instead of that, I'm going to give you this, the avocado. and it's still going to appease you. You still get something that you wanted to spread right on there because our human wants to do. That's what our human wants. Our human wants to do, act, move. Our human is physical. And so when we take control of our third dimensional life in these small, basic, super effective ways, we then can hear from our higher self, our connection with divine source, God, Allah, Jehovah, the Most High, the Most Illumined, our Creator, Source, and the universe begins to move in our direction, and we get to see results pretty rapidly because then we're just duplicating those same steps. If I'm providing value, if Sushana is providing value today and the rest of our spiritual superstars, please hit the thumbs up button on YouTube and comment, and let's go on to the next spiritual superstar. Thank you so much for sharing, Sushana.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. And Sushana is in our Shamanic Modern Mystic Masterclass. And I highly recommend you getting in there and receiving your certification because it's going to help you for sure. All right. So, Alexis, would you like to share this morning or ask a question? And you can use the chat. You don't have to get um, on voice if you don't want to. You can unmute though. As Bridget says, she's typing that out. I do not get to judge my human. Yes, our human is judged all the time, everywhere, it's going to happen because this is a human experience. And so, why do we think we have the right to judge our human on top of all of that? That is so stressful. It's wrong for me. I believe that in my heart and soul. It's why would we do that to our human? So our human, as you heard Sushana say, she has that connection that's growing within herself. And remember, you're a dual being. So you have that friendship. And that is the key. Your best friend is your human. You are the soul within your human, and you are here because of your human. Does that make sense? You are here listening to me because your human said okay. But your human did not, thank you, automatically say, okay, I want to check Nicole out. All right, let me go check out my spiritual family. Let's go there. Not necessarily. But your human will get to that point as you develop that relationship of being open and communicating that with your human. Here's one way that it plays out that I'm sure many of you are feeling and or have felt. And I want you to really comment and share whether you're in our Zoom or whether you're on live on YouTube. And it's this. When we're taught that we have one religious umbrella, we're taught. I was raised a Baha'i, and you may have been raised a Jehovah Witness. You may have been raised Protestant, Baptist, but there's a division there amongst religious umbrellas. Muslim, Christian, Buddhism. You may have been raised agnostic. Whatever it is, you were raised a certain way. You warmed up, you were taught certain religious principles, behaviors, actions, routines, habits, principles, right? Truths. You may have been raised to read the Bible. You may have been raised to read the Kitabi. You may have been raised to read the Quran. You may have been raised to read Buddha scriptures. You may have been raised to go to a temple, a church, a mosque, whatever it is, praying a certain way, all of it, worshiping a certain way. And then once you are waking up to this awareness that there's fluidity in spirituality, right? There is a boundless relationship within spirituality in your connection with our Creator, with the universe. It starts to feel less segmented. You begin to kind of walk past the self imposed and the taught boundaries. You start to color outside of the lines and start to see that you're not going to be penalized, that you're not going to be tormented or tortured, that your own awareness is awakening. Does that make sense so far? Let me know in the comments, whether you're on Zoom or in YouTube. Let me know if that's making sense. And awesome, awesome. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, everybody. Okay, good, good, good. I'm seeing yes. What about over on YouTube? Is that making sense so far? And so what the first thing I have seen in my experience, in my coaching, in my own life is that is scary because then it is, oh my gosh, was I taught wrong? Is what I'm believing narrow, one sided? Am I wrong to judge other people? I mean, they're a good person. They have really good values, but they're not Jehovah Witness like me. I mean, they love God, but they worship differently than me. Does that mean that I can't associate with them? Does that mean that I can't, am I compromising my own values if I associate with them? How about if you could get married if you want to? Would that stop you? It creates a turmoil inside, an inner storm. And what happens is judgment. But what isn't remiss is self judgment. And so that moment right there, that is a strong, oh, that's a symptom that lets you know that you're in a spiritual awakening. It's just one example that is very prominent for you to recognize whether you are in a spiritual awakening. When you start doing more research outside of your religious umbrella, when you start just seeking, just really good. I, for one, was taught that you seek out the Word of God yourself. Even in as a Baha'i, we were able to visit different churches, different events, and it was awesome. But even as a Baha'i, I still felt very uncomfortable as a um, spiritually aware person. I knew that from such a little girl, young age, that these things were happening that I didn't feel comfortable telling anybody except for my mama. And then it got to the point where I wasn't comfortable telling her because she didn't know what to do to help me. And she wasn't receiving the same visions, the same messages. Stuff wasn't happening to her like it was happening to me. And I was very confused, very isolated within myself. The Twilight Zone was happening all the time within my third dimensional life, all the time. Was anybody else ever felt like that as a child? The Twilight Zone was real. That's why I love that show. It's my favorite show. Favorite. I stayed up late to try to watch it. I remember still nodding off, sitting right up on the TV so I wouldn't miss anything, and trying to be very quiet so that, my stepfather or my mom wouldn't come. My mom, she wouldn't have cared. But he wouldn't come in and tell me to go to bed because it felt like the Twilight Zone got me. Like that was my life, seeing the weird. But I also saw the evil. And I see the godly, right? Does anyone else feel that way? Are you receiving that? Have you seen that? Uh-oh, the chat is live in our Zoom. Let me see what's going on. Kiara says, or Clara, we're told one way is the only way, but God is bigger than the box we put him in. Let me just, yes, ma'am. We're afraid to stretch out and learn more because it's against what we were taught growing up. Bridget, yes. Yes, I have. Absolutely. It's scary. Does that mean our parents were wrong, Marina? Does that mean that our teachings are wrong, Patricia? Does that mean we can't believe in the Bible? We have all those questions, all of those thoughts pop up. Oh my gosh, can I, break out from what I was taught as a child? And here comes that maturity and that independence and that awareness of living your own life. It's super big. You get to have your own life experience. Let me give you just a truth. As a parent, we're not perfect. So whoever raised you was not perfect. You are not perfect. As a person, you're not perfect. You come with fault. You can do your best. That will still be less than what our creator can do, our higher self, source of fulfillment, our source of love, unconditional. And that source of the impossible being done, right? That's not us. So we get to leap forward in faith and we get to rely on something outside of ourselves. So therein comes the relationship we have with Source. And in that spiritual awakening, we have that theme. So that may be the theme. There's 7 steps, right, to master any spiritual awakening. I'm going to ask Bridget to go ahead and hang on, Bridget. I'm going to go ahead and ask Clara to unmute and just share a little bit more about your experience as a child and how you are growing into maybe an even more vast or where you're at now compared to what you were taught in your spiritual life.
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Okay. Luckily, my little one sleeping. Otherwise, he'd be behind me making a bunch of noise. But yeah, I was raised Christian. I still do identify with Christianity. But like you said, I have struggled in life. My aunt has always told me, that I was gifted spiritually, and tried to teach me different things throughout life. But you're taught that it's anti-Christian. It's not of God. It's even sometimes some things they say are satanic or demonic. But I think as I've gotten older and matured spiritually, I see that they don't contradict. You can grow spiritually in love and it not be against what you were taught. It's just more of an expansion. And I've talked with some other Christians who've had, similar experiences where, when you're growing up, you're taught very rigid, like you said, it's very judgmental, very must be in this spot. But as you get older and experience more life and grow spiritually, you realize, it's not within us to judge, and that's not doesn't have to be a part of that spirituality. That you can grow, that you can be outside of that box that you were taught. Because, like you said, everyone, our parents teach us what they know, and it's limited by their experiences, which was limited by what their parents taught them and what they were exposed to. So, it's something I challenge myself with, just praying and meditating, and being exposed to people like you, where I can really see and feel that peacefulness and that spiritual power that goes from within and of
Hmm. Hmm. And so that's powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. And as a parent yourself, what is that struggle that you're finding? Because spiritual superstars, make no mistake about it, there's a struggle there. And that is a part of knowing you've got to do the work, as you often hear that term, do the work. When people come to me, it's like, Nicole, what is that? What is the work? We go through that work. As a side note, let me just share, we do have our scholarship open, and I highly recommend that you look into the scholarship. Reach out to me. I have a few of our spiritual superstars on now that are my clients, private clients, and we coach on what you need done to get the results that you need in your own life right now, because we're all different, yet we're all the same. And that's why the steps, the methods, strategies I use are tools that you will take and duplicate over and over again and continue to thrive. So that's super big. I just want you to share how that is manifesting as a parent now, Clara, if you would.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, how do I? Because I have two boys. Yeah, I have a couple bonus children, but my boys that I'm responsible for full time. It's how do I instill these values in them, but also raise them to growing themselves spiritually. You know, so my younger one, I have a toddler, but also have a teenager, and even having him exposed groups, have him participate in groups, but also kind of have him, find his own way and balance that keeping an open mind
Mm-hmm.
about talking to him about how he feels and what he sees spiritually, and we do study the Bible, but also have just having open conversation, open dialogue, and I also pray for guidance with that, because it is a balance of what's the best way to do it. So yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
just like with other areas of parenting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's super big, guys. It's just not one person having that kind of uh, a complete overhaul. I feel like it is step by step by step. And where I see the overwhelm, and thank you so much for sharing, Clara. Where I see the overwhelm happen a lot is just abandoning the fact that we're still a human. When we awaken to these beautiful new spiritual experiences, we're feeling something touch our cheek and we're freaked out, but yet we know, oh my gosh, what was that? That's not human. We're freaked out. Is that not good? Is that bad? Is it, oh my gosh? And when our dreams are coming true, when we're dreaming so vividly, when someone who has ascended on comes to us and we're freaked completely out. And at the same time, we're so blessed by it and we know it. When we just wake up to that vibrancy and it goes against what we were taught, when we realize, okay, I get to really do what I love for a living and be gratified by it. Takes a little work, extra effort, but I actually get to get paid doing what I love, like my hobby. What? And when we were taught, well, you got to have a job, you got to get a good job that pays good money, you've got to take care of these bills, and you've got to do it all over again every single day. And so there is that, right, conundrum, that turmoil that we feel. And we either are all in on one side of that, whether we try to ignore what's happening and we go back into the third dimension and we refuse to see the beautiful spiritual experiences and to be scared by it and to be elevated by it at the same time, because we're stepping out on faith. Because all of that is a faith walk. Make no mistake about that. Or we can choose to feed fear and go right back into the world and be of the world and dive deeper into of the world activities, of instant satisfaction in our relationships, meaning you might go and cheat. Someone might go out and have an affair. They may go on and break up with the love of their life, their twin flame, their soulmate, and totally go and be with someone who is lower value, quite frankly, or lower standards. It's easy to get that instant physical satisfaction that pleases the human. May go to drugs, alcohol, something that sedates and deadens their awareness that's divine. Could go back into a 9 to 5 when they really are yearning and craving to help people in a way that they've learned how to do themselves. They've learned how to help themselves in some way, whether they do hair, they are physically fit, they've rebounded from surgeries, and they were able to heal themselves from chronic illnesses, whatever it is. They went into a healthier lifestyle, whatever it is, they've learned this thing. And so the fear of, can I really do this? Can I not? So that balance, and it's either all or nothing, or we choose to have that balance. What I believe is to have that balance. And so when you're scared of going in that next path, that spirit is telling you, okay, I've got this highlighted for you, and you see it, you're at that crossroads, and it's scary. What do you do? Well, the first step that I have learned over 30 years, about 30 years ago, I started doing these steps that I can remember, probably before that, is the awareness. The awareness. What is being highlighted in your life? So let's talk about what Claire said. What we're taught is one thing in religion, and we wake up to this vastness of spirituality and we question what we were taught, who taught us, and things like that. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So the awareness, what is it? Is it religion versus spirituality? Is it true love versus who you thought you had to be with, or the type of person you thought you had to be with? Is it natural medicines, alternative medicines versus the synthetic? Is it waking up to being able to heal your human from chronic conditions or diagnoses? Is it, what is it? Is it love? Is it whatever it is, spiritual development, whatever, purpose? That awareness is real and it's the theme. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? Let me see. Let's see. We got Marina over on YouTube. I strongly feel in one way or another, it's about control. All religions have their rules that differ from the others. I love that you put rules. Because rules sounds like, ooh, if you break it, like I'm going to break you. Like, it's like, ooh, it's scary. But we all have rules to live by, right? In this third dimension, there are rules, there are laws, and it can feel really scary on one aspect. And so, do we dive back into that, or do we dive deeply into spirituality and just say, screw it, I'm not going to follow the rules? I know this other way of being now. Or can we find a way to balance it out so that we're not screwing our human over? We're not just falling apart and sabotaging the rest of the areas of our life. And we got dependence, responsibilities, obligations. Still, life is still happening. So, how do we maneuver all of these newfound ideas and ideals, principles, wants, likes, all these things, and still thrive and move forward and not be stagnant? So we don't want, right, is to find next year that we're doing the same thing and we're still miserable in our lives, or we're no further ahead, right? We want to have progress. And when it's not happening as fast as we want, we still want to know that we're co-creating with divine source. So what do we do? What do we do? Let me go back over to Zoom. Claire says, as a friend says, two things can be true. They can coexist and complement each other. Absolutely. Very well said. Absolutely. So, what is that awareness? I'll give you an example. Alexis, she jumped from Zoom. First, Alexis was on YouTube, then Zoom, then jumped back to YouTube. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. That's a true moderator right there. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, girl, give it up for Alexis. Please give her some props. We are so grateful. Okay, working it. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your help. I mean, on it. And just be so fast with it. Thank you. My theme for right now, because we can have multiple spiritual awakenings. So remember that, so that you're not abandoning your human, or you're not allowing your human to abandon you, the soul. My theme is breaking free from living my life for other people and feeling that pain of separation and detachment from people, behaviors, connections, friendships. Detaching from the easiest way. The pain of emotionally intense conversations, and the fear of, if I do it this way, how is that going to affect the other person? Are they going to be upset with me? Am I going to lose them as a friend, as someone I love? And so, what is the theme that's playing out in your life right now? It could be, is this person the one for me? It could be, oh, is Jehovah Witness for me? I kind of dibble in, I jump back out, I'm kind of in. Is Christianity for me? Am I more spiritual than I am religious? I had a conversation on what is spiritualism. I had never Googled it. I've been to Lilydale. That's the spiritual mecca, right, of the United States. I love that place. You have to be a spiritual practitioner to even live there. It's been in existence since the early 1800s. It's such a spiritually charged place. And some people are scared of that. But this is the platform that Dr. Wayne Dyer, the late and great Dr. Wayne Dyer, spoke on that stage. Deepak Chopra, a lot of, spiritual leaders have taught there and have done workshops there and all of that. And yet, I had never Googled spiritualism, the word, never, until this conversation recently. And I'm like, huh, this person thought that that was my religion. And I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, well, I'm spiritual. I know that. I was raised a Baha'i, but I have since moved from the confinement of what I felt in one religion because I believe in different principles of religions that are centered on God. So, Christianity, many principles I believe in. We read from the Bible in our home. We read from the Kitabi Akdas. We read from Baha'i prayer books. I love quotes from Buddha. I can appreciate the different aspects of multiple religions centered on universal love and the Most High. And I can also appreciate different principles that are based on multiple gods because the principle is on that universal love. So I can see that and I can say, yes, I like that. I agree with that principle. So I can't feel comfortable within one religion because that then goes against what I now know to be true for me. Does that make sense? And that right there, that took years to get there. Years. And here's the thing, you all, spiritual superstars, with that awareness and growing into that comfort, you saw me come out. I was isolated. How many of us are isolated? How many of you really feel isolated in your spiritual journey and misunderstood, judged? So that detachment, right, from, okay, people are going to think I'm crazy. Well, Nikki, they already do. That's why you're isolated. Okay, well, yeah. And here's the thing is that when you are doing the work step by step, you're going to go through that isolation. And I'm going to encourage you to welcome it. Who knows why? Because y'all have been on it, and then we're going to end on that. And what a beautiful, beautiful conversation this Sunday that we can use to go into our week empowered. Who knows why? I suggest welcoming that isolation, and you can come off of mute, excuse me, if you're in our Zoom, and you can type in our chat. Okay, Alexa says, I know. What is it, girl? What is it? Why would I say welcome that isolation? Don't be afraid of it. It is such a blessing. Why is that? I can feel and hear the minds just turning. It's okay. You can answer. I promise you, you're not wrong. because you're never wrong in how you feel.
Nicole, this is Bridget. I know for me, what you just said about the isolation. For me, I've been isolated for the last 2 years, and to what that means for me is I've had enough time to grow and know who I am and spend more time with spirit than listen to what I should be in the Christian community or who I should be based on what my family think I am or who everybody say God tells them I am, but I tell them God hasn't told me that yet, so I have to experience that for myself. So I've just been learning to detox everybody else's um, opinions of what they think I should be spiritually. And it's just taught me to keep going deeper within myself and to expand what spirit is showing me.
Did she just preach a whole sermon? Lord have mercy. Woo! Honey, you done spoke for so many of us. Indeed, Marina says. Okay, wow. Clara's like, amen. LOL. Yes. If we're not using the second step, then we are cycling and we're in our own head and we got to get out of that. So the awareness, Bridget just shared, her theme, awareness, is waking up into her own spiritual relationship, her own spiritual self, the awareness of the infinite, untapped potential as a dual being, the soul within her human, and living a happier, third dimensional, physical life using her ability to maneuver in the spiritual realm while she's living a physical life. And how does that affect other people? And how will that affect her decisions? The detachment. So the next step is detachment, right? We know what you're aware of now, what spirit is telling you. Oh my gosh, you've got to do this. You've got to do your waking up. You're dreaming about it. You're having visions about it. You're having messages come to you. You're lost in that thought. All of it's happening. The synchronicities, the spiritual signs, your spiritual guidance is coming in like a storm. Just download after download. And you can't explain it. You're experiencing it, but it's very scary because who do you share that with? So she welcomed the isolation, but Bridget will tell you that it didn't happen overnight. She just said a couple of years. Absolutely. So when you find that it's like 5, 10 years of you in this cycle, honey, know that you are not alone. But that's why you have the 7 steps, and that's why you have the tools and principles that I teach, because what you'll get over at spiritualguidanceacademy.com and what you'll get out of our book, 7 Steps to Mastering the Spiritual Awakening, is that guide to move forward. So the next step is detachment. So she's learning how to detach from other people's opinions. And the very assertive, sometimes aggressive way that people will give her their opinion on what she should be doing as a Christian who is waking up to the vastness of spirituality and what her own private connection, relationship with the Most High should or should not be, what it is. what it is, and how she handles that. So that detachment is real. It's scary. And just remember this, that welcoming that detachment phase is detaching from people. We heard Sushana share how she's detaching from the physical pleasures in a diet, in her relationship with food. She's embracing a healthier relationship with food and that control over what her human gets to do, what she doesn't, and showing that discipline and letting her human, reject it, renege, fight, have that temper tantrum, and then go with the program that she's putting out there. And so that detachment is real. I would say take this week, everybody, and we'll follow up next week, next Sunday, and we will go into the third step. So you have awareness, you have detachment, and you got the third step. And I'll tell you, go on and get the book, 7 Steps to Master Any Spiritual Awakening, because you'll have it for next week. And get the physical copy. I think it's $14 right now. Get it on Amazon. I'll thank you in advance for giving me a comment in your review. I wrote the book as a guidebook. I ask you questions the same way I ask in our private coaching client sessions because I know that everybody can't afford to do private coaching, although now you can definitely look into it because we have our scholarship, which ends up being free coaching. And let me just ask, because Bridget is one of my private coaching clients, let me just ask Bridget to unmute and just share what this experience is all about.
Well, I would be happy to share that.
Thank you.
This experience is, for me, it has been a lifesaver for me mentally. It's helped me to know that everything that Spirit has shown me since I was a child was true. It's helped me to know that when I had those thoughts in my mind and I feel like I don't know if I should do this, and it's just been teaching me to be strong, be aware, and to detach. It's helping me to understand and to be more in tune with my children. And it's just been bringing my whole life together because when I came to Nicole, my life was in a really, really bad position mentally. I didn't know if I was going or coming. And since I've been in this program with her and I've been connected with her, it's I've been stronger spiritually. I've been able to let things just roll off and not be offended or let things hurt my feelings because I'm such a loving person. So when some things go a certain way and I'm doing something that I'm happy with and everybody has something to say about it, I normally get a lot of negativity. But I've been learning how to balance that energy, how to protect my energy field, and to just experience what I need to at this time and to keep myself, do what it takes for me to balance myself by any means necessary and using the tools that Nicole's been teaching me. And that book that she had, it's a godsend. I've read it once, I got to read it one more time. But this program is absolutely, it's just amazing. And it just helps me to develop into the woman and the spiritual being that I need to be in the third dimension. And there's so many tips. I mean, Nicole is guided by spirit, and I'm telling you, I can't say it enough. She's just a godsend for me, you guys. And being in this program has also taught me some of the things that I was interested in, like reading cards. I was always scared of that because I came from a very religious and Christian background, and I was taught that that was witchcraft. And since I started doing the card readings, it's like everything just started opening up for me. I do have, my twin flame who is still a little, skeptical about those things. And one thing I'll share with you, Nicole, and everybody else is my growth when he told me something. He said, "You're going to have to stop reading cards because there's flies in the hallway." I started laughing. I said, "Boy, those the same flies that was in the hallway last summer." I said, "It's hot outside." I said, "That has nothing to do with me." I said, "I'm not scared where I am. If this is scary for you," I told him, you have the freedom to go your separate way if you're uncomfortable, because I'm not going to stop." I've never been able to say that. I've never been able to say that. And it feels so good to be able to say that confidently, knowing that I'm guided in spirit and everything I'm doing is for God and for the purpose of helping other people. So I really encourage you guys to get in that program if you haven't.
I am so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Wow. I love that. And so, um, so I have to know what, so you've had that conversation. What is his feelings on it now?
Um, he's he is more willing to learn. He likes to sit back and watch me, and I see that. And as he see I'm comfortable, and as I talk to him and say certain things, he'll sit back and then he'll come back. We'll bring it together, and he'll talk, and he'll say, "You know what? I understand." It just takes, for me to share certain things with him, and then I told him, it's all about growth. You know, you have to expand to grow. Everything that we've been doing, that we've been taught, I told him, it was always like a block. I was always running into a wall, and so was he. I said, now I don't feel myself running into that wall anymore. Instead of doing that 360, it's been a 180 all in my home, all in my life. And in his too, and a lot of things are changing. So he is starting to be more open, and he just has a lot of fear-based energy. And I've learned how when it comes to that, and I understand why. So I
Mhm.
try, I don't judge.
Right.
I let him figure that out with him and spirit on his own. And
Mm-hmm.
if he needs me, I'm there to, help him with any questions that he may have. But I just try to encourage him to try meditating on your own. Try doing this. I just throw that out. And I said, just see where it gets you. And he'll try it. And it's been working out pretty good.
Awesome. Awesome. What is his religious background?
Christian, his mother is really, really deep into Christianity. And that's some of the things him and I've been talking about. It's one of the things that's affected his life in a tremendous way. And he's learning to detach from what mama say, because sometimes mama not always right.
That's big. That's really big. So he's open, he's learning, and he's seeing that there's so much more,
Yeah,
okay, than what he was taught.
absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
That's huge. And I'm really glad that you two, as twin flames, are able to walk this journey together.
It's amazing. It's a battle, but the tools that you provide in the book and within your program, your coaching program, that helps me because I'm used to being very aggressive because I've always had to defend me. And I keep telling myself, I don't have any reason to be offended, and I don't have any reason to defend my values. Either people can accept them or they can't. And that's not up to that's not my problem one way or another. And I'm learning of that.
Mm-hmm. That's big. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
You're
um,
welcome.
yeah, let me head over to the other in the chat. Alexa says, I definitely need a private coaching. This is very encouraging. Thank you. And Clara says, spiritual awakening, growth, time alone with spirit, which is God, gives clarity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, let me ask you a question. Was he able to see that spirit itself is the Holy Spirit? Is that's God? Does he recognize that, or is he afraid of just even saying spirit?
No, he recognizes that. I think where the issue come in with him at is kind of like with me. A lot of things we've been taught was witchcraft. So, and he's experienced some things spiritually in their home when his mom first got deep into Christianity, where there were certain entities in the home. And I think that part of him as a kid, that's what he's battling now. So it's like when I do the card reading and everything, to him in his mind, from what he shared, he felt more like I was inviting different entities in and bad things were going to happen. And I'm like, no, it's about the energy that you carry. It's about the energy that you bring when you're meditating or when I'm, reading cards. I said, so for me, I mean, for him, that's one of the things I think was the biggest thing for him. And it was kind of really scary for him, which I understood because it can be scary when you don't know. But I told him, I know for sure. And I said, you know me, and I'm not going to do anything unless Spirit tells me to. So he understands that, Holy Spirit, is God, but there's still that fear based energy in there from, those other spiritual experiences that he had.
That makes sense. And I see Claire, and thank you so much for sharing, Bridget. Claire to say, yes, my aunt taught me card reading, but I stopped because I was told it was evil slash witchcraft. And so, like, that's interesting because, like, I didn't even know cards existed, but our spiritual gifts have been before your understanding or your awareness of the different tools that we see used in spiritual practice. And that can be coaching, that can be crystals, it can be, for me, cards are a visual. And I'm an educator. And so that tool is really big in being able to reach my students, which are all of you, my spiritual superstars. And here's one thing though. Here's a humongous thing is you always know I want you to teach, I want you to practice safety. Safety is huge, very big. It's the number one thing, no matter what. No matter what. It's the same thing as if you, and Bridget's a parent. Same thing as if you, for example, are a parent and your kid is opening the door when you're not home. Terrifying. That is opening up the realm of negative energy coming in. And so when you are using any tool, crystals come from the earth. They come from the earth. They are formed from the earth. And so I believe just crystals alone, we cleanse them. Just as I find a rock, my kids collect beautiful rocks. Um, and we cleanse them. We clean them. You're not going to bring anything dirty in the house, right? Same thing. You have a crystal, you buy it from Amazon, you buy it from wherever, crystal shop, whatever it is, and you bring it home, you cleanse it, right? You go shopping, clothes on the rack, they carry energy. They're an object. They carry energy. People have touched them. They carry energy. Energy is a footprint, a handprint, a fingerprint. And energy lingers. So you bring them home, you wash it, you know. Um, with the spiritual tools, it's really important that you recognize the energy that they were created with. Tools are tools. I can use a pencil. This red pen right here. That is a tool. And I use it to get a certain result. Right? This was created and formed from a thought. That thought is energy. That energy manifested into an object, a pen. So my point is that when we use these tools, understanding what went into them to create them is important. I can go to the thrift store, an antique shop, and get something that belonged to someone else. That something carries energy. it is really important to know how to recognize that energy. A question is, well, how do you know it's of God? How do you know anything is of God? How does that feel to you? How does God feel to you? How does God feel? And if you don't know that, then you must know that first. Does that make sense so far? You have to have a very strong connection with our Creator. You have to, in order to maneuver in this third dimension and not be of this world. And so cards, I've made cards. Let me just show you them here. I encourage you to get them on Etsy. My daughter designed them, designed the cards. And so, are these witchcraft? Or are they a tool? Are they a visual? How about the flashcards that my 10-year-old uses? Somebody created those. I bought them from Amazon for his multiplication, facts, and division. What about plus and minuses, takeaways when they're young, littles? You're teaching them ABCs, whatever it is. They are cards. What about playing cards? People do card parties. Is that witchcraft? Is that going against God? So we are taught specifics. And maneuvering that conversation can be touchy. It can be really judgmental, and it can be intense. And I encourage you to just have the conversations. For me, because what you hear me say is the first thing is practice spiritual safety in life, not just as a spiritual teacher, a practitioner, and as a reader, a coach, a psychic, a medium, whatever your modality is, an energy healer, a massage therapist, a chiropractor, therapist, acupuncturist, medical doctor, whatever your modality in healing or spiritual health is, which for me is whole body health. You practice spiritual safety, not only for yourself, but for your whole family. And so I have a bunch of cards, and I've thrown out even more. And why is that? I have some cards from Doreen Virtue that I feel the energy is so positive. That's the only thing that I'll have in my home. Things that feel good to me. Things that feel right, positive, things that feel God to me. That's the only thing that I can have around my children. Excuse me. And when I feel anything that is ego, it doesn't come in my home. And I have thrown out many of her decks because that's the first thing I felt when I touched it. Threw it right down. I remember sitting, this was about 5 years ago, the first time I started buying a few more. I had like maybe 2 decks then, and I prayed about it. And God had told me, you can't touch tarot. And I said, okay. And, I went through my own spiritual guidance on that, and I was very, very transparent with you all, and I said, I can't use them. I want them so much. It was my human. On that level, it was ego desire that I wanted these different decks that I saw other people using, and they were so pretty to me, and I wanted those. And God kept saying, no, I follow spirit. That's the Holy Spirit. Okay. So the visions I was getting, oh, those aren't yours. Those aren't for you. Okay. I have to be obedient. And so the ones that I said, okay, can I get these? And I felt God say yes. So I got them, and I was so excited for them to come in the mail. And I got two. And as soon as I opened the box, and I have learned to open them outside, they don't even come in my home until I know that energy that was created with those cards, with that tool. I don't care if it's a crystal, I don't care what it is. It could be a necklace. I open it outside of our home. That package doesn't come in our home until I know I go through what I've gone through for years. That discernment. And I immediately felt ego threw the box down. Totally distraught. Oh my gosh. Did I just feel that? That was my thing. Did I just feel that? Yep. And so I prayed. I asked God, please show me. Please show me. I felt ego, and I didn't like that feeling. And I touched it again. And this time I looked at the cards, the pictures, and I got to maybe the third card. Ego, ego, ego. Shot it down. Prayed, rebuked it, the whole 9 yards. It's undeniable. When you feel any energy that's not of God, you know that energy. It can be envy, jealousy, it can be anger towards you, it can be all of these things. You feel it. Your spirit, you, the soul, will not vibe with that energy. It's not good vibes that you're feeling. And so the next deck, so I said, okay, oh gosh, I'm so upset. I can't use this deck. I can't even touch it. So, okay, that went in the trash. And the next one, second I opened it, ego, shot it down. Distraught. On a human level, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just spend this money and I can't even use them? On a spiritual level, Lord, thank you so much for saving me and saving my family. Thank you so much. Now I see why you said I could get these decks, because I needed to understand what that feels like through my spirit of discernment, which is a spiritual gift that we all have. And so, yes, when you're practicing, when you have your daily spiritual practice, it is an evolution and it's constant. And be proud of yourself that you're constantly learning, because you're growing. And embracing those new awarenesses is humongous. And so these we created on our own. This is our career deck, life purpose, our calling deck. And we have our romance deck that we're recreating. And my desire is to have more. But it must be done a specific way. And so, yep, I truly believe that. I think we had a question over in the chat on Zoom. And let's see, can anyone learn Tarot, Sushana? Yes, and we actually have a course over there. I don't know if it's active yet. I think we took it offline to upgrade it. But yes, we do. And because what I was seeing is that people were teaching, weren't teaching the spiritual practice that I believe in. And I think it's really important to always to teach, to practice spiritual safety first. I was a celebrity massage therapist. That energy taught me in a significant way to be grounded and to be safe. And this was before children. So once I became a mama bear, my whole world changed. And my intention is on keeping them safe, but I have to stay safe first. So what I was seeing is that, yes, people do toy with energy that's not of God, and people do not practice spiritual safety. And the result is devastating. But I also believe that, for example, if someone is dating two women, that's not of God. If you are being sneaky about it, if someone is cheating on their spouse, if someone is being of this world and using someone, let's say that someone is using drugs, someone is just drama in a messy situation, is that of God? Well, that energy is real. That's negative energy, and it does connect by association to our children, to our family, to those that we're connected to. So, I mean, you can see that manifest, unfortunately, most unfortunately, in abuse to children. Children didn't ask for that abuse, but it is happening because of the neglect from who is responsible for them, whether it's their parent, grandparent, whomever, foster, foster care, foster parents, the government, whomever it is, and it's the same thing to me. So the connections are real. That spirit of discernment is so big. Bridget says, definitely a tool and a visual. Right. It's the way I feel. It's a tool, it's a visual, it's a tool, just like a pen. It's a tool, just like my glasses. I have to see, I have to use reading glasses now. It's a tool for me to continue to use my eyes the right way. It's a tool. And so, yeah, the intention is real. And I strongly suggest you, when you touch somebody, you feel that energy. Look at it like when you see a wavelength, what frequency are you on? Right? You're on this certain frequency. There's other people on that frequency. Are you on a high frequency, closer to the most high, or are you on a low one, closer to the world? And look at who else is there on your frequency. Very simple to do. Look at who you hang around. Look at who you're around most of the time. What are they doing? Are they of that life? What is that life? Is it spiritual life, or is it the worldly life? Who are you engaging? Well, got news for you, spiritual superstars, and I really want you to get this. Who you're engaging in your life is engaging your children's lives, because you're on that frequency and your children are automatically on the same frequency as you. Whether or not you are in talks with them, they are grown, they're parents of themselves, they're on that frequency. They're on that frequency. They can fight it themselves and think they're grown and they're really, totally need you, or they're dependents and they totally need you, but they're on that frequency. How do you know? You get little notes that let you know that. For example, you think of them, they call. You think of them, you see them on social media. They text. They stop by. Someone calls you and mentions them. You're on that frequency. And inviting that energy in is a whole nother thing. So it stops before you bring it into your home. You bring it around your babies. If you're parents, you bring it around people that are dependent on you, no matter who you are. You bring it around yourself. You have to have that boundary, that cutoff. So I hope that helps. I'm so glad that we had that conversation. This is so on point, and I really appreciate everybody being so open and just very transparent. Very, very nice. Very nice. Alexis, definitely, and anyone else that is open to having a private coaching session, definitely we have our scholarship up. Um, and you heard from Bridget, one of my private coaching clients. Um, I certainly will send you the information for anybody. We're in the United States and on Eastern Standard Time, but I have clients. Just talked to someone in Australia last night, well, early this morning, I guess, around 2 a.m., 2 or 3 this morning. And so we make it happen because I'm grateful. Our spiritual superstars, you all are all over the globe. I'm so grateful. So here is the information. Jot this number down. It is our business line, 859 339 3459. And I will get you the information for coaching. And you can also, for our scholarship anyway, and you can also find readings information on our website, which is spiritualguidanceacademy.com. Spiritualguidanceacademy.com. And I highly recommend that you get over to Facebook, which is our private communities. We have our lifestyle medicine community, which is healthy changes through lifestyle medicine, healthy changes through lifestyle medicine, and Spiritual Guidance Academy private group. I'm not active on our public page, so I'll tell you that. It is our private groups where I'm active on Facebook. And definitely get over there. And our lifestyle medicine group is because that's what I do. Side of Spiritual Guidance Academy is I am a lifestyle medicine practitioner. I am a health and wellness coach. And I believe that we have to have whole body health in order to have the best spiritual health. And we can't segment it and just have physical fitness and not have mental health. And we can't be emotionally healthy without having a healthy relationship with food. And how are we going to be spiritually healthy if we are still welcoming toxins into our home and into our human? It just doesn't work. So having spiritual baths, using herbs, eating less meat, saging, smudging, all of it, which is in an ancient ancestral indigenous tool, right? This is a tool, a sage stick or sage wand, sage bundle is a tool. Or is it a spiritual tool that our ancestors taught us amongst different indigenous cultures and they still use it? And science has proven that sage, the plant, detoxifies the air of bacteria. A plant. So is that witchcraft? So the conversations have to happen. And I'm thankful that we're having it here. But yeah, so can we do that and have a strong spiritual life while we're still using bleach and Comet and things that have really bad energy, chemicals in them? You know, so I'm a believer in whole body health and I'm about that life. All right, so what a beautiful Sunday. I hope and pray that everyone has a beautiful day and you have an amazing start to your week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and come back. We are meeting every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can definitely get into Zoom. Clara is saying, have a blessed week, everyone, over in our Zoom. And you can stay on YouTube. I think we might do that since some people are not able to get into Zoom. Clara says, or Bridget, thanks for sharing, Nicole, because I will now be opening all packages outside. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at that. I mean, look at how much energy touches that package, whether it's anything, a gift that anything you order online. Look at how many people have touched that thing, and then you come in and bring it in. I know it's extra step, but it certainly is something you don't want to place right on your bed. It's been in the packing, warehouse. It's been in the truck. It's been all over the place. And things like that. You want to get the packaging right on out of your home. You don't want it to hang around. And you definitely do want to cleanse your home and your space and keep that energy vibrant and high and good vibes for not only you, but your family. And that could be your fur babies too. Sushana says, that's true. I stopped hugging everyone. Oh gosh, yes. Stopped hugging everyone. Oh my goodness, right? You can drive down the street and look at people and you get eye to eye contact, right? They're so open to looking at you. You drive by and they're looking in your car and it's like you're looking at them. Why? Welcoming that in. That's big. You can look at people and see, oh my goodness. You feel their energy instantly. You feel like, ooh, right? The windows are an opening to the soul, but they're not the only one. Clara, thanks so much, Nicole. You're so welcome. I have to sign up for the coaching program and private reading. Have a blessed week, everyone. All right. So you're so welcome. And please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe and come on back for more free spiritual guidance. I love y'all. Have a beautifully blessed week and I'll see you really soon.